guest.
Oh, sorry about that.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Glad to be with you.
Good, good. So you're doing comedy out in Vermont, huh?
Yeah, actually, I just doing a big show in a couple of weeks at the library. We'll probably get a few hundred people and raise money for the food cupboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Public library or like
Yep.
a university library.
No, it's a public library. It's a
Fun.
gorgeous place, and being the opening act, I'm hoping is going to be the 89-year-old former librarian, who's
Okay. Is that older or younger than you? That's older.
a little bit older, but she promises to be clean, which is really hard for her.
Okay.
She's wonderful, but she's fabulous.
She's got a potty mouth, huh?
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, looking forward to that. And
What part of, I don't know a lot about Vermont. Tell me
we're
about the geography of Vermont and where you
we're
are.
in southwestern Vermont, and we live in a town called East Dorset, which
Okay.
if there are
How long a drive is that to like Boston?
3.5 hours,
Okay. All right.
same thing to New York.
So when you fly somewhere, what's your big airport that you would go to?
Well, actually, it's either New York City. If we, like we just came back from Germany, we go to New York,
Yeah, for
or
Europe.
Albany, which is a mid-sized airport. But
Okay.
in my act, I talk about Rutland, Vermont, which is 25 minutes away. There's
Okay.
one 8-passenger plane goes in and out of Boston 3 times a day.
Oh, cool.
They have
How long is that flight?
It's an hour flight. They have
Nice.
a total of maximum of 24 passengers coming in and out of that, and they have 5 TSA people who work there.
Wow. That's
5.
crazy.
And last
Our money
winter,
at work.
I say in the act, one of the guys was going through my suitcase. He looked up. He said, I'm there often enough so they know me. I was going through my suitcase. He looked up. He said, Bob, it's pretty chilly out. You should have packed your gray V-neck sweater. And I got into the plane. I was the only person, and the pilot turned around. He said to me, "So, where do you want to go?" So yeah, we love it. Love
That's
living
cool. Is it noisy in a small plane like that?
yeah, but I use my noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
And,
Fun.
yeah, it's fun.
Do they have beverage service?
Yeah, they don't have a toilet.
Oh, really? No way.
No
Huh.
toilet. No.
Okay. Do they land or do you have to jump out at the end?
Well, like one time when they have one pilot to balance out the plane, they let somebody sit in the co-pilot seat.
Whoa.
So I said to the pilot, so let me get it straight. My job is to keep you awake, right? And,
That's funny.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. I have so many questions about this. Is it affiliated with a bigger airline or is it just a tiny independent?
It's called Cape Air.
Okay.
They go all over New England and Montana.
Okay.
Wow.
But is it owned by like a United or Delta or is it totally independent?
Nope.
Okay.
In fact, I met the owner. I was in Boston and he was ready to fly to Bangor, Maine. He's a pilot and the owner, and they have about, I don't know, 30, 40 planes, and it's growing. But so that's we get to free parking and
that's like that sitcom from the 80s. What was that called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Wings.
Yeah.
Well, funny you should mention that because one of the stars of Wings lives about 20 minutes from here.
Oh, no way.
It's
not Balky, is it? The guy who was in Beverly Hills Cop. He was so funny. Holy cow.
No, I'll think of his name as soon as we finish talking.
Yeah, sure.
That
of course.
Works.
So Bob, when did you start doing comedy?
When I was 3.
Okay.
I made a joke.
Scoop joke?
I remember a joke. It was about, we called our rear end a tutu. And I remember a babysitter came. She said, "Does anyone want to go to the park?" One kid said, "I want to go." My sister said, "I want to go too." And I can remember saying, "I want to go too."
Huh.
And, it might not seem so hysterical, but I remember thinking at that moment, I am one funny toddler. So fast forward to, I'd served 2 congregations, earned a doctorate, and then I entered a Jewish Comic of the Year contest in 1986.
Whoa, holy cow.
I came in 3rd behind a chiropractor and a lawyer.
Okay.
And
pretty impressive lineup. Yeah. Usually comics are degenerates, but at at this contest, everybody's got advanced degrees and 401ks.
Yeah. So that started out the whole thing. And then actually, my cousin is a writer for Letterman and Leno, so he wrote a few things for me and still does.
Okay.
I ran another guy who lived in our town who wanted to write for Leno. That was his goal. And I'll make a long story short. He got some jokes to Leno, ended up for 18 years being Leno's head writer.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
neat.
friend of mine. So,
Oh, that's cool.
and so I never rose to those levels, but I still use some of his material.
I'm interested in this. Did either of those writers, did they ever get on stage? Do they
No,
perform, or they only write?
no.
Okay.
My cousin is an introvert.
Okay.
He's very funny, but
Okay.
he's a true introvert. He wrote a book about being an introvert.
Well, kind of a lot of comics are introverts,
Yeah,
because when you're on stage, you don't need to socialize. It's just
right,
you,
right. Yeah,
So,
I'm not. I'm. My wife's more of an introvert than I am, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, my cousin wrote my opening joke, which is I say I'm 81. It's not that bad. My hero's Harrison Ford, who's 84. He's making another movie. It's going to be called Indiana Jones and the Enlarged Prostate. So that joke sort of, it sets the tone. It answers
Yeah.
people's questions, and I think it's a funny joke, and I've used
Yeah.
it for years.
That's great. Yeah, Harrison Ford, huh? He doesn't still fly, does he?
I don't know, but
Huh.
I'm glad I'm glad on the other coast in case
Yeah,
he does.
exactly. Safer where you are.
Right.
81 years old. Holy moly. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I just
Do you do open mics ever?
yeah, in New York, I love doing that.
Do you have a favorite mic? I'm going to be in New York in August.
Comedy Harlem. I'm going to try and go back there. I
Okay.
had the most wonderful evening at Comedy Harlem.
Do you know
I didn't know
what
what to
night of the
expect.
week it is?
I don't know
You
because
don't? Okay, I'll look
I
it
don't.
up. Comedy Harlem.
But
Okay.
I didn't know what to expect. I'm the only white. So I just began. I said, I looked at the audience. I said, I do observational humor. You may have observed that I'm white, and they loved that. And
Yeah.
then I did my 5 to 8 minutes. And it's the only time I've ever performed that I got off the stage and the MC called me back because they
Huh.
were applauding. It was superb. And I
That's
was able to
fun.
use, I said, I live in Vermont. It's the whitest state in the union.
Yeah.
In fact, when my friend Kareem came to visit, as he drove across the state line, Vermont's black population doubled.
Huh.
Well, I mean, they ate it up, and
Yeah.
a very sweet audience. So
That's
I want to go back.
terrific. Comedy Harlem. I'll check it out. And
Yeah,
you'll be back someday.
yeah. I hope
Uh,
so. I'm gonna.
are you a big New York City guy? What do you like in New York City?
Well, we have an apartment in New York, so we're there a lot. Our son and daughter are both there. So I really love doing the clubs. It's as a comedian, my audiences are. I do an hour and a half show for an audience that came to see Rabbi Bob Alper. In a club, you are nobody, and it's a totally different feeling, and you've got
Yeah.
to prove yourself, and the audience skews much younger than I am, and much and it's I love doing it. It's such a challenge, and so
Do you have
far,
a go-to club in the city?
I've been to the Stand a lot.
Okay.
I've gotten good videos out of that. I put them on YouTube. My website, bobalper.com. That's where people can find me, bobalper.com, and YouTube. I've got 70 or 80 clips all over YouTube.
Nice.
So
Real quick, we have an online researcher from the Carolinas chiming in here. Comedy Harlem in New York open mic is on Mondays at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Sign up is at 5 p.m.
great.
Thank you for the research, Carolina.
Yeah, that's great.
Listening in.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Somebody in Carolina tells us about Comedy Harlem.
there you
That's
go.
great. That's
They
wonderful.
got the internet in
It's a terrific.
North Carolina. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So where's your next favorite comedy city after New York?
I go everywhere.
Okay.
I just
Have you done comedy outside of the US?
yes.
Okay. Where?
Believe it or not, this is going to sound really strange. I did stand up at the Palestine National Theater in East
Okay.
Jerusalem for an all Palestinian audience.
Okay. How long
And
ago?
it was a long time ago, probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it was a terrific audience. I was part of, there was an Arab comedy group, Ahmed, Mo Amer, you know the name Mo
I've
Amer?
heard of him. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Mo is mega huge right now. Mo opened for me 50 times. That's
Huh.
before he became mega huge.
Okay.
And look at me, I'm still sitting in Vermont. But he's fabulous. But it was five or six Arab comedians, and because I'd worked with Ahmed and because I worked with Mo, they said, "Why don't you come along?" And so I did the Palestine National Theater in East Jerusalem. And afterwards, you know, I'm this rabbi, and the audience they want to take selfies with me. It was great,
That's cool.
sweet, a wonderful audience, and comedy brings people together.
Did
Hopefully,
Did you have any trouble with jet lag telling jokes?
no, I'm pretty good at. I just came back from Germany, and I'm good.
Yeah, you probably don't sleep anyways. You're
Yeah,
old, right?
yeah,
The way I'm trending, by the time
yeah,
I'm 80, I'm not going to sleep at all, I think.
right, right.
We got a question from online.
Yeah,
Did you know that Mo was going to blow up? Did it surprise you?
that's a bad term for Palestine. That's really, but I know what the person means, and I didn't know. All I knew was he was really, really good,
Okay,
and he was a nice person.
nice.
I mean,
That goes a long way.
yeah.
It
I
really
mean, he,
does.
he stayed at our house when he was performing here in our town, and we did a lot of work together. We also worked with a woman named Susan Sparks, who's a minister, Madison Avenue Baptist Church. So the three of us performed. We did the Clinton Presidential Library, the
Cool.
World Bank, and tons of shows. A lot of colleges. This is back in the 20 teens,
Huh.
and but I I didn't know Mo was going to, who could predict for any comedian that they'd be as big as Mo? But he's selling out Radio City Music Hall. I mean,
That's wild. So we got another question. What did you observe in his 50 times that resonated with you?
um, I, he was enormously talented. I mean, I don't take it for granted when he does accents, British accents and Japanese accents and German accents. He's so good, but he does it so easily that you sort
Mhm.
of overlook it. But this is enormous talent, and that's one of the high points of his performances, that he does those talent. I can still hear him doing a British accent, and a Japanese accent.
Yeah.
It- it-
Have you
so
been to see him
was that?
have you been to see him
I saw him
since?
once in New York. I went to
Okay,
a club and we hung out a little bit afterwards,
fun.
and back in the green room we hung out. But that was a while ago, and I haven't. I think the last email was like a year ago. He's busy. He's remarried. He has a son.
Yeah,
And I'm really happy for him.
that's cool. That's neat. So how about in America? What's another fun story you have in a different city?
Um, Trying to think um, what's
Have you been to LA, San Francisco, Dallas, Chicago,
yeah.
St.
I mean,
Louis?
one of my first shows when I was just starting out, I went to the Holy City Zoo in San Francisco,
Okay.
and I'm just trying stuff out. And the guy in front of me was filthy and also skinny, and he said he was the world champion wrestler or something like that.
Okay.
And then they bring this guy on who says he's a rabbi, and people said, "Yeah, right, yeah," just like the guy before. So I had a hard time doing that.
Huh.
My favorite club is the Comedy Cabaret in Philadelphia because that's where I got my start.
Okay. Is it still open? I
Oh yeah,
haven't been to
yep.
Philadelphia yet to do
It's
comedy.
still open. It's been open for like 30 or 40 years.
Cool.
Andy Scarpati is the owner. He's the guy who gave me a break and said, yeah, come on. I mean, I could do 5 minutes and try things out. One time I was performing at a new club that he opened, and the audience was very sparse. And I was supposed to do 15. And after 10, I said, I'm doing nothing. So I said, thank you and tip your waitresses. And
Uh-oh. We've got a hiccup in the
My
internet.
ear,
Oh, there we
whisper, whisper in my ear. He says, "Now you know what polite applause is all about."
go.
So,
Well, they gave you a nice quiet space to work out some
right,
material.
right. So, but I when I was still in congregational life, or still in Philadelphia, I'd left the congregation, but I was doing tons and tons of weddings and funerals and life cycle events like that. I actually would do a wedding on a Saturday night, and I'd go out to the parking lot, open the front door and the rear door to make myself a three-sided dressing room, take off my suit, put on my jeans, drive to the comedy cabaret, and go up on stage.
Huh. That's wild. That's
So,
neat. So, were you a rabbi when you were also a comedian? Or did
um,
or
yes and no. Yes, yes. I mean, first of all, I tell people I always use jokes and funny stories in my sermons in front of my congregations. So I've had over 50 years experience performing in front of a hostile audience. And but I do. I was always funny, always use humor. After I started into comedy, I stopped serving a congregation. But I tell people, and this is kind of serious, I'll always be a rabbi. And I mean, I've recently, a couple of weeks ago, I officiated at a funeral, which was unusual. But more than that, there are all kinds of ways of being a rabbi. There's congregational life, academic life, organizational life, scholarship, whatever. And I tell people my rabbinate is making people laugh, and it works. It does things for people. Maya Angelou says people forget what you say, they forget what you do, but they never forget how you make them feel.
yeah.
And I have this ability, this talent to make people laugh. And the peak, the summit of my entire career took place after a show maybe 15 years ago, when a woman who I knew was dying of cancer came up to me afterwards. She said, she said, for an hour and a half, I forgot I was sick.
Oh,
So that's a gift all comedians have.
yeah.
And I recognize it as being something more than just a profession or a talent, there's a holiness to it.
Yeah.
And whenever I can make people laugh, my driver's license is hysterical. I wish I could get it up on the screen. I might have a copy of an old one. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this.
Huh. They
Okay.
let you do that? Vermont is a wild place.
Well, I don't have my license. It's downstairs, but on the back of my license, I've written, "Yup, they let me do that," because everyone says they let you do that. So, so to give you an example, we're coming out of Europe, had to go through a passport control in Switzerland, in Zurich, and the woman is there, and she's pretty dour, and she takes my passport, she looks at it, she does the stamp, and then I said, "And I want to show you my driver's license." "What do you mean, sir? I don't need to see your driver's." No, I said, "I really would like to show you my driver's license." She said, "All right." So I showed her my driver's license. She smiled, she laughed, and then she said, "Do you mind if I take a picture of this?" So there's this Swiss customs agent taking a picture of my driver's license. And the same thing happened as I was driving out of the Hertz lot down in Texas.
Sure.
I showed her the license, and I know this is a woman who does not have a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's struggling. She's looking at paperwork and licenses day after day. And I show her and she smiles and she says, "Can I show it to the person in the next booth?" And they have a little party. I took a picture of her holding my license, and that's what
That's
humor does. Um, and there was another example. I checked in a hotel, and the desk clerk was looking pretty sad and dour, and I showed him my license, and he laughed a little bit, and he said, "I've had a really rough day." He said, "Thanks, I needed that."
oh,
So
that's
so
incredible.
the title of my second book is "Thanks, I Needed That,"
Oh,
and I
nice.
tell that story among other stories. There's tons of stories in the book, but
Well, I
so,
guess that answers a question from the green room. This past weekend, I did a 4-show weekend at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Phoenix, Arizona, and the
yeah,
host who's pretty green. He's pretty new. He's very eager and excited. Really nice guy. Mike Miller out of Phoenix, Arizona, everybody. Very capable, competent on stage. He did a great job. But he asked me a question. He said, you've been doing this a long time. Do you ever get tired of making people laugh? And I laughed. I was like, no, that's the best part of the job, man.
Right.
It's great. I mean, maybe if it's a joke I've told for like 5 years and haven't changed a single word, there's like a little bit of hesitation, but there's other jokes where the best part is learning something new that can make somebody else laugh.
Yeah.
You change a joke slightly, you add a tag, whatever. And
Exactly.
no, it doesn't get old.
Exactly. I tell people, I'll do an hour and 10 minutes. And I remember, I won't tell you the whole joke, but the punchline is my grandparents just returned from a gambling junket in Las Vegas. And then after doing that joke for maybe 12 years, I thought, I don't need to say junket. I can remove those 2 syllables. And that made my night. My grandparents just returned from gambling in Las Vegas. So, just, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know
editing,
what you're talking about. I mean, what's funny is sometimes it's accidental. Like I've made mistakes before telling a joke and it works out better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. And it's incredible. Word economy is so important.
Yeah.
Shrinking, how quickly you can get to the punchline is really,
I love it. It's such writing my books. My favorite part of writing my books was editing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would throw stuff on paper and then edit it. And,
so we only have a couple more minutes left. If there's anything you want to talk about, we can do that. I'm kind of curious what it's like doing comedy now. You're in your 80s. You might be our first guest ever. I've done 100, 150 of these.
Yeah.
That's in their 80s.
Right.
What do I have to look forward to in 5 years?
Well, it's that you're in a profession that is so exciting and energizing that it keeps you young.
Nice.
I mean, I can't believe I'm 81. I mean, come on. I even joke about it. I mean, that the opening line and a few other. I talk about having a cystoscopy. You know what that is?
I don't know.
I mean, this is part of my act. I explain to the audience. So I'm going to use 2 words that no other comedian has ever used. You can go cystoscopy and urethra.
I know about the urethra.
Yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah. So I said
I'm almost afraid to know what the other word means now.
Right?
It doesn't sound pleasant.
Well, it's when they check your bladder to see what it looks like, and the way they do it is they take a tube and they put it in your urethra.
Yeah, no, that's no good.
The end of the tube is a light and a camera on a little tiny iPhone 12.
Yeah.
And then I say, but the joke is, I mean, that's part of the joke too. But I say I was waiting for them to start, and the anesthesiologist walked in with a very attractive young woman. He said, "This is Dr. Richmond. She's a resident, and she'd like to observe the procedure." I thought, well, great. It's not going to be humiliating enough. Let's do it. And then I turned to her. This is true. I turned to her. I said, "So, what's your specialty?" And she said, "Podiatry." and then the follow up. I said, and then when I woke up, all of my toenails have been trimmed.
Nice.
So that's a joke that I guess an 81-year-old can do.
Yeah.
But I don't do a lot of it. I talk about my kids as if, because I got so much, even when they were teenagers, I still do the teenager because it's good material.
Sure. Yeah.
But I also, because I'm of a certain age, I'm also able to say, we have 2 children. We have an adorable 53-year-old, cute as a button 50-year-old, both still in the gifted program, both still in my Verizon plan.
Yes.
That's part of the routine. So
have you found any of your jokes don't work because they've aged out? Do you know what I mean? Like maybe like a reference to Al Pacino. I almost fell over backwards once when I have a joke about Back to the Future. There were like some 21-year-olds in the front row who didn't laugh.
Yeah.
This was like 3 or 4 years ago. They had never heard of the movie Back to the Future. I almost died. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm quitting. But I imagine you have references potentially that are even older.
Yeah, I can look at my tapes and see stuff that, boy, I could never
Your
do that.
VHS tape, your Betamax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got these tapes. My wife said, "What are we gonna do with them?" I don't know. I can't play them.
Did you used to mail VHS tapes? Are you from that era?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's incredible.
the way I started doing the Laugh and Peace tour was in 2001. I hired a publicist in Los Angeles, which means I spent a lot of money for nothing, because that's what a publicist does. But she had one idea. She said, "Why don't you do a show with a Muslim comedian?" And
Huh,
I
nice.
said, "Do you have any other ideas?" Because it's not the Muslim idea. It's just working with another comedian, because they
Mm,
tend to be neurotic.
yeah,
And
sure.
I see I'm getting really dark here because the sun's gone
Yeah,
down.
that's our cue that we gotta
I should
we
turn the
gotta
light on.
wind it down.
Anyway, oh, wait a minute, I can turn this. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
look at that. I should have
Yeah,
done it for.
very
So,
nice.
but despite what I told her, she found this guy named Ahmed, and we swapped videotapes across the country, from
Unbelievable.
Philadelphia to L.A. And then he came to. I brought him into Philadelphia to see what would happen, and I had a synagogue show set up. They agreed to have him perform. He was really nervous because his Jewish comic friends told him he'd be in physical danger to go into a synagogue. Yeah, these Jewish comics spend more time in clubs than in synagogues, trust me.
Sure.
And the danger he faced was, after the show, we had a reception, and he was surrounded by 6 women trying to fix him up with their daughter.
Huh,
A good-looking guy.
nice.
So, anyway,
Who is
was
Oh,
it?
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
that was
ahead.
video. That was videotape time.
Yeah, the videotape era. Is there an old-time comedian that you saw live, or somebody you wish you had seen live, or
I saw
uh
Bob Newhart one time.
no way.
Yeah,
Perform stand-up, or you
perform,
just ran into him like in an
no,
airport?
perform stand up.
That's cool.
He's my hero. He is my hero for a number of. I mean, he was my hero, and my role model. And I used to imitate his routine. In high school, I used to memorize his routines and do them on talent night.
Fun.
But the reason is
On a
because,
record, right?
yeah,
You would listen to him on a record player?
the button down mind of Bob Newhart, it was called, a 33 and a third RPM record. So
Incredible.
yeah, your listeners are saying, what's 33 and a third?
Yeah, for sure. There are people who don't. Well, records are
Uh,
they've had a resurgence. They're
right,
coming back.
right. Well, he was clean, always clean, respectful, not hurtful, and also his personal life. He had a marriage that lasted forever,
Yeah.
and no scandal. So
Yep.
I performed at the Chautauqua Institution in New York State, and he was performing the next week. And I told the people that I was working with that he was one of my heroes. And a week later, I get a 8x10 black and white glossy of Bob Newhart,
Oh,
signed
that's cool.
to Rabbi Bob Newhart. So, to Rabbi Bob Newhart.
I
Only
got it.
it's,
Nice.
it's
Cool.
right
All
behind
right,
me.
we got to wind this down. We got a couple comments from the internet. There's somebody on here who's starting to learn how to write comedy. I just want to encourage you to keep writing, keep at it. Jimmy Myers on the internet. We got a comment from North Carolina. They had a Bob Newhart exhibit at the Smithsonian in DC, and I was so pleasantly surprised. I was at the Smithsonian in DC last year doing comedy, and I saw Fozzie. I thought it was so cool. They didn't have Kermit. They put Kermit in the basement, but they had Fozzie out, which was kind of neat. And then we got some question here. Is it true that Jerry Lewis was drinking during the filming of his movies in the early to mid 1960s? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's one of
That's
the
a
many questions
question for another time.
I
We
have
can.
no answer to.
Yes, yes. Bob, you're a delight, man. How can people find you? Where do they find your books?
It's all. My website is bobalper.com.
Okay.
People think it's Alpert, but it used to be Alpert, but we dropped the T at a party in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you're
it's
low T these days, huh?
right. So it's Alpert, bobalpert.com. And if you go on Amazon, put my name in. My books are there. On
Yeah.
YouTube, put my name in. My videos are all over the place. And
Yeah, and
I'd love to
everybody,
perform
it's
in your community.
Bob, Bobalper,
Right.
everybody. Yeah.
Right.
Stick around for a second, Bob. I want to chat
Sure.
with you. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday. We do this every week, Always Booking Comedy. If you found this in the distant future, it's currently June 2026. We got a huge back catalog. Watch some other episodes. They're fun. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. See you next time.